You ready?
Let's do it.
What? I mean, it's been turning up with the girl around us and she loving her. If we don't know you, don't go close to her. If you with your girl, let me hear you say what?
Good night. This is season 2, episode 2 of the Read, Talk, and Listen podcast, otherwise known as the RTL. I am your host, Nick Reed, along with my brother and co-host, Trey Reed. How you doing tonight, man?
Man, pretty good, man. How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing good. Just got done with a little training session, man. You know, hurry to the house to hop on, man. I've been ready. I've been waiting since last week.
Yeah, I was like, man, where you at? It's like 19 minutes. Like, where you at?
That's how sometimes I can't get out of there, and it's just, hey, bam, bam, you know. But hey, we're here, and it's time.
Oh yeah.
But what you been up to, bro? I really hadn't, I know it's only Wednesday, but normally by this time I've had about 15 hours of phone time with you, in the week.
Right.
But I've only, I really haven't really talked to you that much, man. So let me know what's been going on.
Shit, man, just working. That's about it, man. Working. Went out last weekend and checked the game cameras. I sent you some pictures, you know what I'm saying? So you seen what we got out there? Yeah. Exactly. So I went out there, checked the game cams, filled the feeders up, and same old, just kicked it. But other than that, man, dad and working, shooting the bow, getting ready, getting it all tuned up. So how I go.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, that last video you sent me, man. Just put me in full, like, I'm ready for November to get here. You know what I'm saying? Like, skip past my birthday, all that good stuff. I'm ready for November to be here. You know what I mean?
Bro, yeah, you saw
exactly,
man.
Exactly.
Hey,
I need him
symmetrical 8. Now, the only thing about that is that particular buck, he on public land.
Yeah,
he a public land buck. So maybe we'll get a free day to go out there and try to get him. I'm gonna try to get him early. Hopefully by the time you get here, he already in the cooler. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I'm gonna try to hop on him early, man.
Man, that would be lovely. That would be lovely. Also, man, I forgot, man. I'm not used to it. I know it's only episode 2, man. Shout out my guy Measley in the background, man, popping up everything for us. I see our names down there. Matter of fact, y'all go follow us on Instagram, Big Poppy19. Also, my brother right there, the dreaded Archer 17. Y'all go follow that. But shout out to my guy Measley in the background.
Oh yeah, tech guy.
I shot you a text earlier because in the middle of my training session, I received a message. And it was about Simone Biles, the amazing gymnast that we've all come to love over these past few years.
The GOAT.
Exactly, the GOAT. And she's so goatish that they're trying to change some type of ruling for her, man. What's going on?
Man, I've never seen this in my 31 years of living. I've never seen a sports committee make a decision that a player is, or not player, but an athlete is so cold at what they do, and they are so far away from the competition that they got to put her, like, give rules just for her. I've never seen no shit like that. So they'll be grading her on a whole nother scale because they say the things that she do, the moves and stuff that she land, it's so out of this world that if another gymnast would do it, it'd be catastrophic. Meaning, if I took myself out there and tried to do it, I'd either break my neck or be dead. You know what I'm saying? So they saying she's so cold that we got to put her in her own category, and these other girls, they basically playing for second, third, and fourth place. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And she's made
that shit right there is not fair at all.
Exactly. I don't think that's fair at all. Which they're saying they are trying to make it fair, I guess. But she's come out and said, I'm in a league of my own, but that doesn't mean you should, I shouldn't get credit for it. I shouldn't be graded on the same scale as everyone else. She's come out and made a statement about it. And I think this is tragic for the sports world right here. Because this is playing part into the everybody gets a trophy mindset. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like.
Well, we already knew that was coming to that. I mean, we seen that at the Little League level with the whole everybody get a trophy. I never thought that we would see it at a pro level or the Olympic level, But it goes to show you that stuff is starting to bleed over. And I mean, I'm speechless. I don't have any. I have nothing to say because I've never seen anything like this before. Like how can you say an athlete is so good that we're going to put them in their own bracket, and by doing this, and if they do go along and what I'm saying, decide to do it, it's going to set a precedent for other sports where if they have a player that's just happen to be superior to everyone else in the league, they're going to start doing them different, doing them, just grading them and treating them different. But that do remind me, it's kind of the same thing they was doing to Cam Newton when he was in Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Where if since he was bigger and faster, than most quarterbacks in the league, they wouldn't give him the calls they give Tom Brady or Drew Brees. So it's kind of along those same notes. You know what I'm saying? And at the time when that was going down, nobody said anything about it. So it's kind of one of those things where when you start seeing stuff move that way, you got to nip it in the bud. If not, you'll get what we're getting right here.
Exactly, and I'm glad you said that, because mid sentence I was like, man, maybe this isn't the first time we've seen this. And you're right, we have seen rules be changed for people who are a little bit better or a little bit different than everybody else in their league or their field. And this Simone Biles thing right here, I think is, like you said, it's setting a precedent for things to come for the future, and it's not looking good for the sports world. We can't coddle athletes for not being as good as the best, because the goal is to be the best. You know what I mean? If you want, if you want to beat Simone Biles, or you want to have the chance to get close to beating Simone Biles, you just have to work a little harder. I mean, that's all we can say. You just have to do a little bit more. If you can't compete with her at your peak, then that's just it. There's no, oh well, here's a new grading scale for her, and now it'll make it a little bit closer.
Right, because what that tells kids is, well, if I'm not that good, I can just hope that they change the rule for me. No, like I love nature. I always bring this up. I love nature. I always compare stuff to what I see when I'm out here in the woods. It's survival of the fittest. That's what it is. If you do not match up to the competition, you either get up there or you get washed away. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to handicap the person at the top so everybody else can come and make it even. That's not what the field of competition is about. That kills the spirit of competition.
Exactly.
Because if I'm that guy at the top, I'm like, what the hell? Like, y'all changing the rules for everybody else. And it remind me of you when you was in Little League and how they crippled you in Little League baseball. Well, since he's bigger and faster than everybody else, he got to bring his birth certificate, or he came back this time. Like, what the hell what's going on?
Exactly. But like, I feel like the way that we used to see sports, like right now, the way they should be, Simone Biles is the standard, right? That's right. How it should be. Simone Biles is the standard, and everyone, that's what you aspire to be. Not, wow, Simone Biles is so great, we'll never be that, so let's all play for second.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, the Olympic Committee basically just slaps every other gymnast in the face with this rule, right?
And say, y'all ain't that good, so we got to dumb it down for you.
If you've been training your entire life, because some of these girls, it's going to be their first time at the Olympics. They've been training their entire life to get to this point. They have been thinking this entire time, like, I'm going in here to beat Simone Biles. That is my goal. I'm going in here to beat Simone Biles. And then they come out with this. That's just like basically saying, okay, I know you've been working your whole life, but you have no chance of beating Simone Biles. So here's this new grading scale. And it's totally wrong for me. I'm turned off by it completely.
And I think it's going to start making, people that are at the top, it's going to either make them dumb themselves down, or for the people that's, at the bottom, is going to make them not like, I can be content to where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, the committee said that Simone Biles does moves that could be catastrophic if another athlete did it. That says a lot about Simone Biles. That says she was willing to push that limit. And isn't that what we tell our athletes to do? Push that limit. Don't give me 100%. I want 110%.
Exactly. Stretch
them bounds. And now what you're doing is there are young girls out there right now, that are, 5, 6, 7, 8, young, looking at Simone Biles saying, I want to do that one day. I want to do what she couldn't do. You know what I'm saying? I want to push it past her. But now they're putting these rules in place. Now it's going to stop that kid from even wanting to even try to achieve it because they know the odds are against them. The rules are going to be stacked against them.
Exactly. I don't even have a chance to get there because they're not even grading me the same as they're grading someone else who would do that.
Exactly.
And it's crazy. But man, speaking of, since we're on women's sports right now, we're on women's gymnastics, but we're going to switch over for women's basketball. Candace Parker gets a cover on 2K. She's the first female cover athlete in the 2K ever. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm not a big 2K player, anyways. So now I remember we were talking about this, and I even asked you, like, are there even any WNBA teams on the game? And let me know. Yeah, last time I played 2K, there was no WNBA teams. Did a little research and found out you can't even play as a girl on my park, right?
Right.
So when I first saw it, I was like, you know what? Maybe they're just, trying to cater to the female audience. You know what I'm saying? But then again, I was thinking about it. Maybe 2K is just trying to get ahead of the whole social warrior movement. You know what I'm saying? Well, video games don't do anything for women. We just saw what's her name? The girl from UConn that said, gave a big speech about black women and how they don't get the recognition in sports. I thought that was bullshit, but she said it. Maybe that was 2K's answer to it. Well, you know what? She said this, and we want to work with her later on down the road. So how about we go ahead and, make a little change real quick? I don't know. And also, it could be a money grab.
Yeah, exactly. It could be a money grab. Exactly. That's I think the hardest thing in this time we're in right now is like trying to sift through like what's real and what's bullshit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like we don't know. Yeah, we don't know if 2K is really like, okay, we're gonna get behind these women because that's what needs to be done right now because it obviously needs to be done. But we also don't know if 2K just like, oh, she just gave the speech at the ESPYs. Let's go with a cover athlete that's a female,
right?
And let's see how many women we can get to play this game. Which I had made the comment last year that why can't you be a woman into my career? You know what I mean? Like I feel like that would have been more like geared towards the women than having the teams on the game. Because like really, like how many people are getting on the game and playing the play now? You know what I mean? Not very many people are playing the play now.
Most people that play 2K don't do the play now. They go straight to my part.
Exactly. And I know back in the day, I was a huge basketball 2K player. People come over to your house, you play the game or whatever, play against people online. But now if I'm getting on 2K, I'm playing my player. And I think that's like your biggest thing. They put more stock into it. They put, you got the park, the neighborhood or whatever. They put way more stock into it. So why wouldn't you have a female version? If you were really gearing this game, to get more female players in, why wouldn't you have a female version on my park? Which that may be on 2K22. I haven't seen that, but I don't think it is.
Man, I think if they're putting Candace Parker on the cover, they're definitely going to put the female option on the my part or my player. They have to this point because what's going to happen is you're going to have a ton of women go out and buy this game. And if they're not allowed to play as a female on my park, and they're only subjected to playing the play now option, they're gonna be pissed off, and they're gonna get a whole huge backlash. So it'd be in their best opinion, or it'd be in their best option to have that option for the female players.
Yeah, and then also, I want everybody to take this into account as well, which I think this is a great thing that she is on the cover. But you got to remember, which cover is she on? Because Luka is on the 2K22. He has a cover as well. You know
exactly.
What I'm saying? So how much is her cover going to get pushed? You know what I mean? Which cover is she on? Do I have to spend a little bit extra to get Candace Parker's cover? Or what? You know what I mean? Like, let me know what's going on. You know what I mean? I don't. This thing could not be as big as I want it to be. I want this to be huge for the WNBA. You know how much I push the WNBA.
Right.
ever since we've ever brought it up, I've been a huge advocate for the WNBA and women's sports in general. So I want this thing to be huge, but I'm just saying it could easily blindfold what's really, what's really real.
You're really going on.
Exactly. She's got a cover, but it's the cover off to the side. We're not really pushing it. It's not in the cover. It's not in the front of GameStop. You know what I'm saying? Luka's on GameStop. Luka's in the window of GameStop. You know what I'm saying? Luka's in Times Square.
Luka's in the window. You go to Walmart and they got the cardboard cut out. It's Luka.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things where you might have to actually search for a Candace Parker cover.
That's what exactly. So that's what I'm saying. This thing could be easily, which I hope it's not. It could easily just be a cover. It could easily just be a cover. You know what I'm saying? Like a pacifier. Like, here y'all go. Like, be quiet real quick.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I hope that's not it. I hope 2K is genuine and they're really getting behind these women, because I think women's sports should be a huge thing. I've said it a million times. I think it can be. I think eventually it will be. Athletes are only getting better. So women athletes, they're getting better as well. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I think just women's sports have still, even though they're different, women and men's sports are different. The women still got to compete with the men, and not just like, in their sport, but other sports. Because when you look at like when the WNBA is taking place or WNBA is going on, you got, of course, the NBA, then you got baseball, then you got hockey. So you got a lot of other sports that people are tied up in, and they might watch a game every once in a while. But for the most part, if I got to pick between watching, the Minnesota Wild play hockey and the Minnesota Spark or Minnesota Lynx play, I'm going to go watch the Wild play. And I'm not even that big of a hockey fan, but I'd rather watch that than basketball.
Exactly, unless they make the changes that we talked about before. If they make those changes, you might have a different opinion. Because I watched a lot of boring hockey games as well. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a guarantee that hockey game is going to be exciting. I don't know enough about it for it to be exciting.
But it's the atmosphere, though. That's the thing with hockey games. Like, you're gonna have some periods where it's just skating back and forth across the ice, back and forth. But the crowd atmosphere, they're shooting T-shirts in the stands. They're doing all these commercial breaks and having all these different contests and kids running across the ice and doing all this. So it's just the atmosphere. And I've never been to a WNBA game, so I couldn't tell you what the atmosphere is. But
exactly, they can liven the atmosphere up for you. I know it. I know they can liven the atmosphere up, but I think it's the on-court things that are keeping people away, not the atmosphere. I think it's the on-court play that's keeping people away from the WNBA anyway. But other women's sports, I don't know, because we don't have a pro like softball. I think if we had a pro softball, it would be huge, because I think the transition would still go from, how big college softball is. I think that transition would go to pro.
But we haven't seen it with the WNBA.
We don't see it with the WNBA, but I think that the college softball, I don't know why. And maybe just because I live in East Texas. Softball is huge. Obviously, basketball is not huge around here, especially for women. But when I look around my Facebook feed and everything like that, softball in this area is humongous. You know what I mean? Like, so in my world, I feel like softball would transition from the college to the pro.
Right.
Exactly.
It was something we have to wait and see.
Exactly. And one day we will see. And speaking of seeing, Space Jam.
Man.
It's come out. You've seen it. A lot of people have seen it. And there's mixed reviews and a lot of crazy comments. So first of all, give me your thoughts. Just give me your thoughts on the movie. No spoilers.
All right, no spoilers. All right, so here we go. My thoughts on the movie. One, I love the storyline. Storyline of, a father just trying to push his son to do what he does. But, and it's a classic story. The son wants to go another route. All right. I hope that don't spoil nothing for you. All right. Then something happens where the father we all know, we've seen the commercial, we've seen the trailer. LeBron has a play in the basketball game in order to win his son back. All right. And along the way, he learns that, I need to let my son be his own man. Great storyline. You know what I'm saying? I love the way he interacts with his family. You know what I'm saying? We talk a lot about, how black people are portrayed in the media and in movies. and how we always got to be the thug or it's got to be some kind of drug movie or hood movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Broken Home.
Broken Home. Now not now, but we've had more. But it seems like every time one of these movies come out, and it shows a black family in a positive light. The father's in the home, the mother's in the home, the kids are doing well, the family's doing well. We pick that shit apart. That ain't realistic. That's not how black people are pictured in America. It's a movie, man. And maybe that's how we should be pictured in America.
Exactly. It changed the narrative.
Yeah, change the narrative. You know what I'm saying? So that's about, but like I said, overall, I love the movie. Now, I've been going back and forth with people on Facebook about this all week long, all weekend long. Everybody, Space Jam is trash. It ain't like the first one. So I just ask them, what do you like about the movie? Well, I ain't seen it yet. So how the hell you gonna say a movie's trash, but you hadn't seen it? But this is one of the biggest issues that I have with a lot of people that I know. They have this herd mentality. Since everybody is saying it's not good, I'm gonna say it's not good because I don't want to be the one to say something different.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And then when you ask people, oh, so why didn't you like the movie for the ones that seen it? Well, it wasn't realistic. It's a fucking movie. It's a damn movie about cartoons getting the NBA player to come to their world to play a game. That was the first movie. The second movie is my son got sucked into a computer. Now I got to go in there too and play to win him back. It is a movie. It is a movie. It is not got to be a resemblance of real life.
Yeah.
So saying, oh, it's not realistic. Well, guess what? In the first movie, Michael Jordan stretched his hand from half court to slam dunk the ball. Also, how tall is Michael Jordan?
6'3", 6'4", 6'6",
6'6", 180 pounds, maybe 200 pounds. He got sucked through a golf hole, a golf course hole. There's nothing realistic about that movie at all.
Exactly. And my thing too, it's a kids movie.
It's
the first one was a kids movie. We were all just kids, but the first one was a kids movie, and this one is also a kids movie. So if you're 27, 30, 36, 40, you're probably not gonna like Space Jam the same way you didn't like Moana or Toy Story, the new Toy Story that came out. Like It's the same way you didn't like that movie. You're not expected to like this movie. It's not for you. You're not the target market here.
No, you know what I mean? Market. The only reason
the next generation that doesn't even really know Michael Jordan besides what their parents are telling them.
Exactly. It is the only reason why parents are supposed to watch a movie is so you can take yourself to Walmart and buy them toys when them kids want them. That's all. That's what the movie there for you is for you. Also, I'm a big Warner Brothers guy. If you watch the movie, there's a ton of Warner Brother product placements in the movie. So if you are an adult and you're a movie buff like me, you notice Casablanca World, which is a Humphrey Bogart movie. You notice Game of Thrones World. All they passing all these different Warner Brother properties that are adult properties. So when you're watching the kids movie, you're saying, "Dang, I ain't seen The Matrix in a while. I need to watch The Matrix." Oh, I've been meaning to watch Game of Thrones. I'm gonna go watch Game of Thrones. They throw subtle stuff in there for adults to catch you. Because I even caught myself when I saw the Casablanca where I'm like, man, I ain't seen Casablanca in a minute. I need to go back and watch that. Watch my boy Humphrey Bogart.
Exactly.
But I don't get it. Like I said, the movie is not for kids. I mean, the movie is not for adults. It's for your kids. And every kid that I've known that watched it, they freaking love it.
Exactly. And you would expect a kid to love it because what are kids into right now? Video games.
Video games.
Largely based on a video game.
Yes.
So you already have the minds of almost every kid right there off the rip. Then add cartoons. Then you add LeBron James, who, like I said, this next generation of kids, that's who they know.
And that's why it's called a new legacy. It's a new legacy because it's introducing LeBron's legacy to the new generation. But also in the movie, his son is going to start his own legacy as well.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But I saw a comment and it ruffled my feathers. And it was some girl on Facebook, and she goes, I can't even get with Space Jam because black folks ain't into coding video games. And I wanted to be like, exactly. This is we need to be. We
exactly.
need to
be. And that's a false statement as well, because
it's false.
Exactly. That's not a true statement. But it's like people were saying earlier, how we've been depicted. Have we been depicted in movies before? It's even painted a narrative in our own world. As you see, as with that comment, you see that it's painted a narrative in our own world that a lot of our own people would say, black people aren't into that. Well, that's not the case. There are black people that are into that, but we've been told so long, like, that's geeky or that's nerdy or whatever, and you gotta be the cool guy. So we think black people aren't into that. There are black people that are into that, and we should be getting more into it.
Exactly, because that is where the industry is going. That's where markets are going. Coding.
Exactly.
But have you seen it yet?
No, I have not seen it yet because I wanted to do this show without seeing it. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you right now, I'm riding for Braun regardless. I don't care if the movie is trash. Like, once I see it, I'm probably not gonna be like, oh yeah, it was a bad movie, regardless of if it is or not. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm riding for Braun, and in this climate, I'm not letting anybody have anything or any argument over Braun. You know what I'm saying? So I'm riding for Braun. So I want to do this show without seeing the movie and just give my take on from what the directors were thinking, like who this movie was for, because the movie's not even for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
yeah, I'm gonna tell you, there's one part of the movie, and it's just like the first one when you had welcome to the gym, and they were showing all Michael Jordan's highlights and stuff. You got that same thing with LeBron at the beginning, and it made me realize, he been in the media since he was like 15.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He has been a famous basketball player longer than he's been alive. He's been an NBA basketball player longer than he's been alive.
Yeah. So,
or longer than he hasn't. I'm sorry, not longer than he's been alive, but longer than he hasn't.
So it made me think about, like, man, we always had this conversation about, Michael Jordan and LeBron. But when you think about it, no one knew Jordan until he got to the NBA. No one knew.
No, they knew about North Carolina.
Well, they knew about North Carolina, but he didn't get his big name until he got to the Bulls and to the NBA. But man, we've been watching LeBron since high school. As a high schooler, selling out arenas. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, and I agree with you. But I'm gonna tell you what the argument is going to be. I agree with you totally, because I know where you're going with this. But I'm telling you what the argument today would be is that, as time goes on, more media coverage. ESPN wasn't going to the high school games and stuff like that when Jordan was coming through. That's going to be the argument. I'm just go ahead and let you know that right now. There is some type of truth to that. There's some type of truth to that. But he is also one of the big reasons why they they started going into the high schools and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a reason to watch. There was a reason to go in there. But I can't go. We cannot go down to LeBron Michael rabbit hole.
But I ain't gonna say so. He has lived up to his name.
Facts.
You cannot.
He's probably surpassed.
Yeah. You cannot say that he hasn't. There's most guys that come through that everybody's like, oh, he's going to be the next guy, and he flakes out in 3 years, or he don't even really end up making a roster, getting cut, or whatever. LeBron has lived up not only to his name on the basketball court, but I think he's making a bigger impact in the world off the basketball court. And you can't say that about most basketball players.
Oh, yeah, I agree. He's making a huge impact. LeBron, and I've always said this, and it's one of the biggest reasons I do like LeBron a lot. LeBron has truly done what every guy who says, or if I make it, this is what I'm going to do. LeBron has truly done that, and that's that's why I think LeBron is like one of the most stand-up guys probably to ever walk the face of the earth, because he's done it every single time. He made it out of his situation, single parent, poverty, made it out. Not only did he just make it out and set up his family, but also his best friends set them up.
Yep, he didn't just buy him shit. He didn't he did. You know what they say? You teach a man, you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but you teach a man a fish, you feed him for a lifetime. He taught his friends how to fish. They all got their own. They got their own companies. He put them all through school, and now they out taking care of their families and contributing to the community.
Exactly. And now once he's taking care of his inner circle, he's taking care of his family, he's taking care of his immediate friends. Now he's giving back to his community.
Yep, he opened the school up.
Exactly. And even before he opened the school, he was sending like 100 kids to college every year, regardless.
Yep, going to Akron University.
Exactly. He was already sending those kids there. So he's been giving back this entire time. You know, he did it in the steps. And like I said, that's what everybody says they're going to do. And whether their career doesn't take them to heights where they can't actually do it, that happens sometimes too. And then some guys just lose sight of what they originally planned to do. But he stuck to it and he's done that. I know a lot of people get mad that he steps into the political side sometimes, but that comes with where he stands.
Yeah.
And so that comes with it. He's going to piss some people off. He's going to step outside that basketball player role because now I've done what I need to do in basketball, and now this is me giving back for my people. So if my voice is big enough and I can get a conversation started by saying this or standing on this topic, I'm going to stand on this topic or I'm going to say this. And he's always done it. And so that's why I really do like LeBron, even outside of basketball. Like you said, he's making an impact on this world that will forever be.
Oh yeah, and like I said, that's how you got to do it. Everybody when people get big, they want to take care of everybody. And I'm gonna say this, and we can move on to the next thing. But for all the young cats listening, here's the motto right here. You take care of home first. You get yourself taken care of. You take care of everybody in your home. Then you take care of your inner circle. Then you take care of your neighborhood. Once your neighborhood taken care of, you take care of the city. Once the city, you keep branching out. It's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Now everybody not gonna make it. You know, everybody ripple ain't gonna get as big, but everybody ripple will make an effect somewhere. And if your ripple only goes to affecting your neighborhood, that's still good. Take advantage of it.
Exactly. And this is another topic for another pod, but also help your neighborhood if they helped you. You're not obligated to come back and help your neighborhood.
No.
You know what I'm saying? If you were walking in practice and people were laughing at you and things like that, you're not obligated to come back and help.
Nope, not at all. I've been a big advocate. I tell kids all the time, you ain't obligated to help nobody.
Exactly.
You're not if they didn't help you.
Exactly. So we just got off a positive note in our community. And I guess this is a little negative note in our community, but I do want to hit it on a little bit. And then there's also another thing that's kind of a negative note in our community that I want to hit on that I saw some crazy comments on. And I think that needs to be addressed for sure. Well, the first thing is Richard Sherman, who I think has into this point has had a truly positive career and light in the NFL and outside of the NFL. But some things went on with Richard Sherman, man. So go ahead and explain what went on with Richard.
All right. So I want to say it was July 13th, Richard Sherman got arrested for felony attempted burglary. He got drunk, went to his in-laws' house, tried to break into the house. Luckily, and I say luckily because it could have went a whole different way, but his father-in-law sprayed him with bear mace. Now, I don't know if any of y'all ever been sprayed with bear mace or even know what bear mace is, but it's strong enough to take down a 1,500-pound bear. So you got to know what kind of pain he was in when that mace hit him. But he was threatening to kill himself and all this other stuff. And his wife said that he was been drinking, taking antidepressants, and just kind of had a bad night. You know what I'm saying? But fortunately, the court over in Seattle, they say, he's a beacon in our community. Everybody messed up once, they let him out on bail, which goes to show you how good of a person he is to the community over in Seattle. But reading this, the first thing I thought was CTE.
Yeah.
I was like, this could be CTE. And then I also thought, you know what? He is a free agent. The season's getting ready to start. He ain't signed to a team. It's kind of what we've been talking about in the past shows. Like, life after football for athletes it's hard. And many people don't want to believe it. But I'm telling you from a personal note, when I stopped playing football, it took me about a year, maybe 2 years to watch football again, but two, to figure out who I was.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Exactly.
and I only play at the college level. So somebody who's played at the highest level in the game, who has won a Super Bowl, who's been who has been a member of arguably one of the best defenses to ever come through the NFL, not being on the team and not knowing what's next, that could really put a toll on you.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Like, it's one thing. Life after football is hard. Let me go ahead and just put that out there too, from personal experiences as well. Life after football is hard, but it's one thing. Like, you played the sport and now it's over. But it's and I can't even really attest to the feeling because I was never the best. But we got to remember, Richard Sherman was the best,
the best
coverage corner. Maybe not man up, but he was the best coverage corner at one point in the NFL.
Don't talk about me.
Exactly. Quarterbacks. That's what happened when you try me with a trash receiver like Crabtree. We're talking about this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right?
Don't try me. I'm Richard Sherman. He's like the best top at his field to being nothing, not on a team. That's something that a lot of people probably will never ever be able to understand fully, I think. And not making any excuses for getting drunk and going to your in-laws' house and doing whatever. But I'm just saying there are things that led up to that, and a lot of times in the media, they don't put out that side. It's only what he did. How could he do this? We thought he was this type of guy. I don't think this changes Richard Sherman's character at all. I just think that this just goes to show people like how tough it is. Like, you truly lose your identity. If you're an athlete, you've been an athlete your whole life, and then all of a sudden, that's gone.
Yep, it's gone, and people realize like he's human. And I know that's not an excuse, but we all make mistakes. We all get drunk and do stupid stuff. The thing is, if you ain't famous, it ain't highlighted.
Exactly.
It's not amplified to the media. So, I mean, I'm just glad it could have went a whole different way. Because I'm gonna tell you now, if Macy's husband came knocking on my door drunk, beating, talking about he finna kill himself or do this, that, and the third, I'm probably gonna put him down. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying? Like, the climate we live in, people acting crazy and stuff. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if he got a gun or what's going like at all. You don't know what's going on. And if he gets in his house, what is he going to do? Because we've seen other athletes, not necessarily football players, but it's like pro wrestlers that they're going through CTE and they didn't kill their whole family.
Yeah.
And people just thought, oh, they just drunk. Nah, it's on a whole nother scale.
Exactly. You never
know. So this situation could have been way worse. We could be sitting right now talking about the death of Richard Sherman.
Exactly. We truly could be on multiple levels. He drove there belligerently drunk. 2 bottles of alcohol is what the report said.
Yeah.
We don't know how big, whatever, but 2 bottles of alcohol were consumed. He'd been taking antidepressants. He got in his car and drove there. He also wrecked his car.
Yep.
So, we could easily be talking about the death of Richard Sherman. And I see right there, we got Aaron Birkins, Big Burke Dog, said that looked like a cry for help. I'm just glad he ain't whooped that girl's daddy or get hurt by the father. Exactly. That's big.
Real big.
But speaking of violence, this is the second case that's kind of dark tonight. But Dwayne Haskins and his wife got into an altercation. Altercation got physical from the female standpoint. He files charges. She is now being charged with those charges.
When I read this, I first thought it was fake because I saw it on the Shade Room on Instagram, and Shade Room they're not a credible source for me anyways. But then as I started reading, I'm like, okay, this actually happened, and started reading into it. And it freaked me out because the comments that I was seeing on different posts was, yes, Queen, he deserved it. But no one even knows why they were fighting. Now, if you reverse the roles, people will be demonizing him. Why is she not getting demonized?
Exactly.
If domestic violence is wrong on both parties, regardless of who's it on. If the man does it, it's wrong. If woman does it, it's wrong. Now, is domestic violence cases rare when women are hitting men? I'd say it's probably about half. We just don't hear about the women hitting men because you're a man. You're supposed to be able to take that.
Exactly. And the man most likely is not going to report it.
Exactly. But the fact that people are getting behind her and supporting her for something that they wouldn't do if it was the other way around, I think is sickening.
Exactly. And I think and that's like a huge problem in society, right? Like we see this all the time. Like there's a group versus another group. And when one side does it, it's craziness. And when the other side does it, it's let's get behind them and this is what should have happened. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we see that all the time, not just with men and women, but especially with the domestic violence. Like for you to even remotely give on either side, like even when the guy does it, for dudes to get on there and be like, oh, well, I bet she deserved it, to say something like that. You know what I mean? Like if you're getting beside the negative side on a domestic violence case, you're in the wrong every single time. You know what I mean? Like especially like a marriage. Like you vow to love that person or whatever and be with that person forever, however it goes. And you're not gonna bring harm to that person if you made those vows. Or you shouldn't.
Right, you shouldn't.
And if you do, things should happen. You know what I mean? So him filing charges on her does not make him weak either. I've seen that.
See, yeah, I've seen posts that way saying, "Oh, he weak for filing charges. He a man. He a football player." Okay, but the law says he ain't supposed to put your hands on me. It's assault.
Exactly. And she won't do it again. I guarantee it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because what's the latter? Hitting her back. Is that gonna prove him manly to the world? If he knocks her out, because then it's he's a football player. How would he? That didn't hurt. You know what I mean? Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's a two-way street.
If he hit her back, then he loses everything. He loses his career. Now their marriage, they're probably gonna get a divorce after that because now the money ain't coming in. He ain't a football star no more, so she out the door. You know what I'm saying? So it just. I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna say. I'm not because I just feel like in certain situations they expect the man to be I guess more mature. You know what I'm saying? In these situations, you know what I'm saying? The woman hits the man has to have the willpower enough not to hit her back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, no, we're both adults. She hit me. She should be getting the same punishment that I would receive if I hit her.
Exactly, and she won't. Even with the judicial system, she won't. She won't.
Oh, no.
Not as much will happen to her as it would if it was the other way around. But this is a step, I think, for men in general, as like a guideline, like what you should do. Start calling. You know what I mean? If that's what it takes. If that's what it takes, that's what it takes. You know what I mean? Because I promise you, you're going to lose every single time you hit that woman. Every single time. It doesn't matter. You're going to lose. So
especially if you're the at his level, you're a star in your sport.
Oh yeah, they're gonna make an example of it.
You got so much more to lose. So
they're gonna make an example of you if you have that kind of stature.
Yep. So start picking up the phone. Start picking up the phone.
And that's the best way to combat it. Because like I said, the latter you lost every single time.
Yep.
But where do you think that double standard comes from, though? Where do you think that double standard comes from with domestic violence?
I think society won't say it, but men are supposed to be more responsible than women are. Women are allowed to go out and be reckless and do things, and it's okay. It's not your fault. But the same thing don't happen with a man. If a man don't pay, say you have a child and you don't pay child support, you're considered a deadbeat. But if a woman has a kid, can't afford it, and give it away, she's strong. She's strong. She was brave enough to give away that kid. Wait, what? We had a kid. I can't afford the child support. I'm going to jail. On her side, she can't afford it. She can give it away and come out scot-free and still go and do whatever she want to do. And she's not considered a deadbeat. And it's just that double standard where men are supposed to be more responsible than women. Society doesn't say it, but that's how it is. I mean, that's where double standard comes from.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of that. And I think we talked about it before, like things like that, there's no change in it. It's just there. You know what I mean? There's no explanation for it. There's no way to change it really, because it's been that way for so long. Like it's instilled. Right. You know what I mean? Like no one, like you said, no one's saying it, but it's expected.
It's expected, and it's like one of those things where it is what it is. You know the laws, you know the rules, whatever. You know how the game go. So just follow the rules, play the game.
Exactly. And man, this is something that you brought to my attention that I kind of want to switch gears right here a little bit. This is something that you brought to my attention, and I think that there definitely needs to be a light shined on this situation, and especially since it's so close to you and where you
Right.
live. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna turn it over to you and let you go.
All right. So we always talk about paying attention to what's going on, not only around you, but just what's going on around the country as well. The things that are going on in our country, we think that since it's not directly happening to us, that we can ignore it. It don't mean anything to us, but that's necessarily not the case. But last weekend I was going out to winter, and there was apparently there was all these Native Americans on the side of the road, and a lot of people thought that they were protesting. And of course everybody's talking about it and what's going on. Nobody really knew. Well, once I started doing the research, found out that they weren't protesting. What happened was they were honoring the bodies of 9 Native American children that were being brought home back to the tribal lands. So back in the 1800s, the American government decided to open up these reform schools, and basically they went to the reservations and they snatched the kids. They didn't ask the parents. It wasn't a volunteer thing. The kids were snatched off the reservation and taken to these reform schools. And one of the schools was in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. It was the Carlisle Indian Reform School. So, yep. Tanner pulled up a picture. So this is a picture right here of all the kids that attended the school. It was about 10,000 kids over the course of about 25, 30 years. Now, at this school, they had a slogan. It was "Kill the Indian, save the man." So basically, they were going to try to reform these Native American kids into becoming or into adopting the American culture. So they would make them change their names, cut their hair. They were punished if they spoke their native language. Basically, beat and starve the Indian out of these kids. And what ended up happening is a lot of these kids died because of the punishment. And once they died, most of them they never notified the families at all. It's basically they died, they buried them, and where they buried them, they didn't even have the nerve to put. They didn't even have the courage to put the kid's name on the grave. It would just say, "Girl from the Lakota tribe, boy from the Rosebud tribe." So, so these tribes have been fighting over the last 6 to 8 years to get these bodies home. Now, up in Canada at the Kamloops Indian School, the school's no longer open, but they were digging on a property and they found 215 bodies of children on this property. So the U.S. government has finally allowed these families to have these kids back. So a lot of the elder tribe members, went up to the schools. They wrapped the bodies in in their Indian burial garb, and they brought them home. So all these people on the side of the road honoring these kids, and there were a lot of people out there that thought they were protesting and decided they're going to hop in their trucks and drive around with their Trump signs and all this stuff and kind of rile them up. And that wasn't even the case. You know what I'm saying? These people are there to honor these kids that have lost their lives at these schools, trying to get reformed into the European culture. And it's like it's some crazy stuff, and like it's sad to say it's not even national news.
Exactly. And I think that was the biggest thing that struck to me. That how could this not be, everywhere? Like that's something that I feel like, obviously you're trying to hide the bad things that have happened in this country. I've seen this for a few months now. Just even talking about like what should be taught in history school. Like we shouldn't even teach. We should teach none of the bad things that this country has done, or bad things that have happened in this country in history school, in history class at school.
Right, right.
And I think that this kind of falls into that right here. Like this is another thing that was horrible in the history, but it should be learned about that is being hidden. You know,
that way it won't repeat itself.
Exactly. This should be taught. Like it should be taught that this country, forefathers in this country, whoever attempted to change and adapt the culture into the European culture. They try to do that. That should be taught so that no one ever comes along and tries to do that again.
Yeah, so they can see that this happened before and it failed horribly.
Exactly.
And
many lives were lost.
Exactly.
You know, and then also the treatment of the kids should be taught. Not only did they die, they lose their life. Those families were never notified.
Exactly. So you
because
have people.
You can't grow up. You cannot grow up thinking that the government is just all willy nilly. You know what I mean? Like everything's good. It's always been great. There's never going to do anything. You know what I mean? Like you can't grow up thinking that way.
No, well, it goes back to that thing where a lot of people say, "I don't watch the news because if I don't know what's going on, then it don't affect me." But no, it does affect you.
Exactly.
It does because that's how stuff get passed. That's how laws get passed. Is because people have that mentality. Oh, I don't watch the news, so it don't concern me. And
you don't know about it until it's too late.
Exactly. And just how you have that mindset, the people at the top know that you got that mindset. So they know, hey, you know what? We're going to either, let's go on and put this out. We're going to put this story out because we know that the people will be on this story. And while they got the attention over here, we over here doing something else.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I always, whenever some crazy, wild story is going along on social media and the news and everybody got the attention on it, I'm looking the other way. Like, man, what else is going on? You know what I'm saying? Because
there's always
too much crazy stuff is happening in a row for it to be a coincidence. Something else is going on that they don't want us to know. So I'm, my conspiracy mind kick in, and I get to looking all through Google until I find what I'm like. This is what's going on.
Exactly. Sometimes I hate being conspiracy minded sometimes because I feel like I'm never gonna give anybody the benefit of the doubt, right? Like I'm always gonna be like, ooh, like they're trying to pour something over my eyes. Like I feel like that too. But then at the same time, I feel like that's how I have to be. And that's if you're not being that way, like you're gonna get something poured over your eyes every time.
Man, I'd rather think that way and it not be the case than to be like, never mind, they ain't doing nothing. And then next thing you know, they load me up on the back of a truck, take me to some kind of camp or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Hey, that's why I do. When I go vote, I don't just vote willy nilly. I'm like, when it comes to people, I do my research on these people. But then when it comes to like certain laws, I'm reading because you might have a law that's this big. So you might read. They might say, "Oh, this is a past marijuana law." Yeah, I'm gonna vote for that now. Little do you know, somewhere down in there, they talking about raising taxes by 15-20%. So you got to read, you got to do your research on stuff. You can't just hop in and do stuff or just go along with the crowd because that's how you get lost.
Exactly, that's how you get lost. But on a brighter note, this is kind of sad too. But I want to bring this up. Deion Sanders walks out of a SWAC interview because he kept getting called by his first name. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I feel like I really don't have I don't feel either way about it because I've seen some interviews where reporters have called Nick Saban Nick. You know what I'm saying? And but I also think it's because I've seen people say, well, Nick Saban's gotten called Nick and he didn't get mad, but Nick Saban might know that reporter on a personal level. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was about to say. Exactly.
You don't know that reporter didn't know Deion on a personal level. All you know is that's the coach of Jackson State. That's the Hall of Fame football player Deion Sanders. You don't know him personally. So give him their respect and call him by his title. Either call him Coach Sanders or call him Coach. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And like I said, I've seen players that play for Alabama say, "Well, I've called him Nick. I know you didn't call him Nick. You call him Coach Saban or Coach."
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I've played the game. You know what I'm saying? I've had my college coach come to my house and eat with my family, and I still had the respect for him to call him Coach or Coach Nehemiah. Never once called him Ken. You know what I'm saying? So it's a respect thing. Also, if you've been told several times, "Hey man, don't call me Dion, call me Coach," and you continue to call me Dion, now we got an issue because I've told you what I want to be called.
Exactly, and that's what I think. I think Dion is trying to step out of like Prime, and Deion Sanders. You know what I mean? He's really because looking at everything that I'm reading and everything that I'm seeing, he is this Jackson State program is going to be something to see. It's going to be something to watch. You know what I mean? He's really working over there. He's truly working, and I think he's trying to step out of the Deion Sanders role and really step into the Coach Sanders role. Because we already know off the rip he has one of the greatest football minds ever. He has one of the best work ethics ever. He just knows the game, and he's truly a coach of the game. He's been one since he was a player. And I think he's really trying to step into that role and to have a reporter constantly Dion this, Dion that. I think that hurts where he's trying to go. You know what I mean? And especially like you said, if you've been told not to call me Dion and you're still in the interview in front of everybody, it's a SWAC interview, so everyone's there.
Yep.
You're still going to keep calling me Dion. Well, yeah, I'm going to get up and walk out before I say something or do something that, is going to hurt where I'm trying to go as well.
Exactly. And I've seen people say, "Oh, he too uppity. He uppity. He trying to be better than any other coach." No, he wants the same respect level that he give other coaches. And that's a part of his plan that he's trying to do at Jackson State as well as in the HBCUs. We want the HBCUs to be talked about the same way you talk about all these other schools. Give us that same respect. But like I said, he's working on it. He's trying to change the culture, and if he continues to allow that blatant disrespect, he's never going to achieve what he wants with HBCUs in Jackson State.
Exactly, and shout out to Jackson State and Dion, or Coach Sanders, should I say, for doing everything that they're doing, because they are changing the game right now. They're getting some recruits to leave these Power 5 schools that's been offered by Power 5 schools. They're getting some recruits to leave and sign with Jackson State, transfer over to Jackson State, and then they're really changing the culture around, and they're making it, in the SWAC, they're changing the culture around that we can get these type of players here.
Right.
And I think it's only going to go up from here, and I hope they continue to do that. I've seen some HBCU camps this summer. All HBCU schools in attendance. I've seen it.
Now, I'm not saying they listen to the RTL, but I mean, that's something we did say they need to do.
It is something that we said we need to do, but I think that was one of the things that I knew that was on the line of, like, if anybody's sitting down and having this conversation about recruiting at the HBCU level, like, this has to be something we do. We have to get these kids in front of us. Because like we said, the funding may not be there to get out there to all the kids, but if we can get them in front of us, that makes it a lot easier.
A lot easier.
You might find some diamonds in the rough. I guarantee you they found some diamonds in the rough that would have never, ever been seen.
Yep.
They found them at those camps, and those kids are going to go on to play at the HBCU level, and they're going to be some dogs, and there's going to be a lot of talent coming out of HBCUs in a few years. And I'm telling you, it all started with Deion Sanders, Coach Sanders, coming out on draft night and saying what he said. It all started there, I'm telling you, because that's the big deal. Not one player drafted.
Not one.
From the HBCU. That was a huge deal. No more, never again is what Deion is saying right now. And he's standing behind it, and he's going full steam ahead, and I love it. Shout out to Coach Sanders.
Oh, yeah. And I've been looking at pictures from the camp, and it seemed like they had some numbers there. They had some numbers.
Most definitely.
And the kids looked like they had a great time. You know what I'm saying? And it went on without a hitch. There wasn't no drama, no fighting, none of that. It was something good to see. And I wish it would have been big enough for it to be like televised. So we televised, a lot of other big camps and combine and stuff like that. But maybe here in the future we'll see it on
exactly.
TV.
Probably maybe next year.
Yeah,
maybe next year. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be quick. Like once it's rolling, once this ball is rolling on this whole HBCU thing, it's gonna be quick. It's gonna be competition. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be right up there with the Power Five. I promise.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of the Power Five, I've been getting some messages over here on my phone. This whole show that OU and Texas are knocking on the door and they want to get in on the SEC.
Man, I got into an argument on Facebook about this earlier. Q, shout out to Q. We were talking about this, and a guy was talking about, Texas and Oklahoma, they don't have the talent to go to the SEC. Now, what people fail to realize is when A&M made that transition, people said the same thing. They don't have the talent to go to the SEC. And then what was it? 3 years later, they were whooping Alabama, and they also had Money Manziel, Johnny Manziel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they also had Money Manziel, but they were competing, and they are still competing in the SEC. They've had some down years, but any team can have a down year. You know what I'm saying? But they're building that program up. I think if Texas goes to the SEC as well as Oklahoma, you're naturally going to see the talent levels rise at those schools because they're in the SEC.
Exactly.
That's it.
We can say that. We can say that. But let's just look at Arkansas. Arkansas has been in the SEC, and they're
but Arkansas's thing that's all front office, man. That's all coaching. When they had a good coach, they let him go, and they had a coach that was getting them on the right track. What's his not Parcells, but the one that had the motorcycle wreck.
Oh, you talking about Petrino?
Petrino had Arkansas on the right track.
Yeah,
he had him on the right track.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And that whole thing fell off. I mean, he had his whole incident. They let him go, and ever since then, they've just kind of had a hitch in the road. They can't win the big games. So I don't think it's a player issue. I think it's the coaching staff, and also there's more competition in the SEC than there's ever been before. Because now you got A&M in the SEC. A&M is in Texas. Texas right next to Arkansas. So a lot of those kids from Texas that was going to Arkansas is now saying, I'm staying in my home state and I'm going to A&M.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of schools around Arkansas got really good, really quick. And I think that did hurt Arkansas a lot because, like you said, like guys from Texas, they're going to go to A&M now. SMU is better. TCU is great. Baylor is great. Oklahoma's great. Oklahoma State's great. All these schools that are right, that will be heavily recruited by Fayetteville that are really good schools now, really good football programs. So I think that does play into the Arkansas thing. I just think none of those schools, like only one of those schools I just named is in the SEC. So why wasn't Arkansas able to use we are in the SEC, come here and play as a tool? Like they sat at the bottom of the conference for a while.
Well, I just said
why wouldn't Texas go into the SEC and end up sitting at the bottom of the conference for a while?
Because they're in Texas. See,
you think Texas going to the SEC?
Listen. What I'm about to tell you now.
Okay, I hear you.
All right. So, Arkansas, a large percent of their roster comes out of Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? Is Arkansas football bad? No. But is it the best? No. So they're able to find little diamonds in the rough in these small Arkansas towns, but those kids are just good. Like they're still good, but they're not top talent.
Yeah.
UT is in the state of Texas, in the heart of Texas. At one point in time, if you played football in the state of Texas, your goal was to go to the University of Texas. There's no doubt about it. I was one of them kids. I wanted to go to Texas so bad. Ever since I saw Ricky Williams, what's his name? RIP Cedric Benson. I want to be in that line of running backs from that school.
Yeah.
I did. Now you put Texas in the SEC, all those kids that are going to, that's going to A&M or that's leaving and going, that's leaving Texas and going to LSU, Alabama, Georgia. Now I'm in the SEC. I'm going to Texas. Now my mom and dad can come watch me play. We in home.
Okay. Okay. I hear you on that too. But check this out. With Texas, can't forget about Oklahoma. If Texas is going, Oklahoma's going. If Oklahoma's going, Texas is going. I think that's how that thing's kind of looking like it's going to shake out. If Oklahoma goes, why wouldn't I go play at Oklahoma? They've already told me, they've already shown me that their talent level is SEC standard. Oklahoma's already shown me that.
But so is Texas. Texas beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl.
You're right. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? And I can argue that Georgia was a better team that year. On paper,
yeah,
Georgia was a way better team that year. But here's the thing: Texas and Oklahoma have always split talent. There was a battle when Texas when it was going for Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson he's from Abilene, he's from Palestine, Texas. He ended up going to Oklahoma. They've always battled for
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of guys right now. They're sitting in the same conference right now, Big 12. And there's a lot of guys from Texas that are going to Oklahoma. Kyler Murray went from Texas to Oklahoma. Right here in Texarkana, Clayton Smith goes to Oklahoma. So with Texas going to the SEC and Oklahoma going to the SEC, these guys I think are still going to go to Oklahoma.
Well, see, here's my thing: it's people don't want to admit this, but when it comes to recruiting, a lot of kids pick their schools on who won what bowl game. Who got the winning record this year? You know what I'm saying? You would like to think that a kid would do his research before he picked the school, but it all goes to who winning now. That's where I want to go. Now, if Texas and Oklahoma both go to the SEC, I think right off the bat, Oklahoma's going to have a better showing in the first couple of years than Texas will. Once Texas build that program up, because they're going to start getting the talent that they used to get in the past. They're going to build it up, and they're going to go because I can tell you, a lot of kids from Baylor, from TCU, from SMU, they're going to go to Texas. Those kids that are getting recruited by those schools, they're going to decide to go to Texas. So Texas is going to build this program up. So it's going to be a back and forth thing, but eventually I think that if Oklahoma and Texas do make the switch to the SEC, they'll be top 5 teams.
You think they'll be top 5? And how many years? Because not immediately.
4.
In 4 years.
4 years.
So you're saying right now, if SEC goes in, if Texas and Oklahoma go in the SEC, they'll be top 5 in 4 years.
4 years.
No. I'm calling yes. I think Oklahoma has a chance too. And I know I'm from Texas and I love Texas. I would love to see them do good. I would love to. But I think that they just have a dark cloud over them right now. And I think with them both making that move to the SEC, I think it's only going to illuminate that cloud even more. There's something going on with that program. The conference switch is not what needs to happen for this program. They need, I don't know what they need. They've switched coaches 3 times.
Yep.
That didn't work. Hadn't worked.
So I'm gonna tell you what it is. So when you look at the history of Texas Longhorn football, so go back before A&M went to the SEC. So let's go back like when I was in school. So you had Baylor. Baylor was trash. SMU was still kind of under their they're just coming out of the death penalty. TCU was on the merge of becoming good, but they was in the Mountain West, so nobody really respected them. Then you had A&M, which A&M was kind of being hit and miss those years. So at that time in Texas, UT was the top school to go to. So all the athletes went there, all the best football players in state Texas went to UT. So they rode off their reputation for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, what ended up happening? Baylor got good. TCU got good. SMU started building their program and getting good. A&M jumped to the SEC. So now you're splitting that talent up between all those schools. So where if you had 10 players. Out of those 10, Texas got 8 of them. Now they out of those 10, Texas might get 2 or 3. Might get 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So
but why? But this is what I'm saying. How do those programs get good?
how did they get good?
Yes. How did they get good? Why? That's what I'm saying. Like, why did people stop going to Texas?
I told you what those programs.
Yeah, but how they didn't just automatically say,
no. I'm telling you, they started getting little, one pieces here, one pieces here. Like, truth be told, when Baylor got RG3 and he went on that first run, everybody, it kind of blew everybody away. Like, oh snap! Well, now they end up getting a receiver from Pittsburgh, Texas. They got Kendall Wright. He came in, so that was a big piece of the team. They started building up the defenses. They started getting find these diamonds in the rough. Well, you find enough diamonds in the rough, you can build a team, and that's what ended up happening. So once you build that reputation up with those diamonds in the rough, the rest of the diamonds just gonna come. You ain't gotta find them. They already here. They gonna show up. Now, this is all my opinion. I mean, I'm just kind of going off what I saw. But it seems like when Baylor was on that went on their run the first time, no one knew who those kids were. They were, where's he from? Where's he from? They just kind of found all these like diamonds in the rough.
The other had Ganaway transferred in.
Exactly.
Ganaway transferred in. DeKalb, Texas.
They found all these diamonds in the rough. So those guys laid the foundation, and all they did was open up the door for other athletes. Like, well, dang, I could go to Texas and be a second or third stringer, or I can go to Baylor and start. I can go to A&M and be a second or third stringer, or go to Baylor and start. I'm going to Baylor. So Baylor, boom, went up. TCU was already winning, but people really didn't respect it because they was in the Mountain West. But they changed their thing on their jerseys. They started coming out there looking fly at the time, and everybody's like, I want to be part of that. And Gary Patterson did a damn good job turning that program around at the end. He basically revamped it.
And that's another reason I think Texas is going to be in the shithouse, because they're not changing their uniforms.
Well, no, yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's a program. It's a program problem. It's not a player problem. It's a program problem. Their program is stuck in its ways.
That's with their regents. That's with their donors. Now,
okay,
but that's going to have to be if they make the transfer, that's going to have to be something that they explain to the regents and their donors. Like, look, man, if we make this jump, we're going to have to do something as far as the jerseys. But then I also don't believe that, because look at Bama. Now, Bama has a way stronger foundation than Texas do right now. So Bama ain't got to change shit over there. They don't.
And there's only one other school. There's only one other school in the whole state.
For Alabama?
Auburn. Like that they compete with. Auburn.
Oh, yeah, Auburn. Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying. But so they don't have to change that. They don't have to change anything. And their history.
But how many players on Alabama actually come from Alabama?
A lot. A lot of them country Alabama boys on that roster. They do get players from Texas. They do get players from Florida, Georgia, obviously. But a lot of their players are from Alabama. California as well. But I'm saying a lot of their players are from Alabama. They're going to get the best running back in Alabama every single year. They're going to get the best running back in the country pretty much every single year almost. But they're going to get the best running back out of Alabama. If you're from Alabama, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're from Alabama, it's just like Texas used to be. If you're from Alabama and you're that guy, most likely you're going to Alabama. Most likely. So they're not really competing with anything. In Texas, like you say, there's a bunch of schools that are actually good now. You're competing with a lot of other schools for these same kids. I know there's a lot more kids, but you're competing with them for the same kids. And if you're not winning, you at least got to look good losing.
Yeah.
If you can look good losing, you can still pick up a few kids. But if I'm going to go wear them same white and burnt orange jerseys every single game, and we're going to get smacked, I'm good on it. I'm really good on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the tradition isn't the winning tradition isn't. They're not winning right now. They're not winning very many games. So the tradition is kind of dead. So, we're gonna ride with our tradition to keep these same uniforms. No, especially no young guys trying to hear that. Now, Alabama, they walked you through them halls of Alabama, and that history line up with the year you finna walk in there. Oh yeah, I want to keep wearing them same uniforms. You know what I'm saying? Like I go there, I go look at y'all. They're wearing these same uniforms. They've been winning from the time it started, pretty much, and they still going. They wearing them uniforms. Now the uniforms mean something to that kid. The Texas uniform does not mean anything to that kid.
You gotta think about it. Bama been wearing the same jersey since Bear Bryant.
It means something to those kids.
Yeah,
because the history is still going. They're staying with it. Texas hasn't stayed with it.
Yeah, but there was a period where Bama was not good.
But that's overshadowed because they've been good for so long. Texas is in their not good period.
Right.
Texas is in their not good period, and it's lasting for a long time. It's lasting. It's still going. Like if they switch the jerseys up, because even if they had the little black jersey, when they had the little, came out the little black jersey, little thing like that, it was crazy news. If they would have actually wore them instead of making them practice jerseys or whatever the hell they did,
I think they made them practice. Yeah, I think they're practice jerseys.
They might have got a few extra recruits
because I don't even remember them running in the game. I don't remember them ever wearing black jerseys in the game.
That's what I'm pretty sure they made them like practice uniforms. They wore them in the spring game or some fugazi. They're not a part of their uniform selection. They're either wearing the white or the burnt orange with white pants, white helmet every game. We're gonna get flashy. We're gonna put your number on the side. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. We gotta do better.
I mean, that's one of those things where Texas is one of those schools where the alumni, it's old money, man. It's old oil money. And when I went to Texas back in 1968, that's what we wore, and that's what we're gonna wear in 2028. This is they gotta get over that mindset. You gotta be willing to have a ever-changing culture. You can't stick with just one thing. You can't stick with just one thing unless that one thing is working. I mean, even at Navy, it was a big deal when we changed jerseys during the Texas Bowl. That was a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Because normally we wear that jersey right behind that you got right behind you. That was the standard. That it was that or the white one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But now Coach Nehemiah has worked with the alumni and they've changed the culture, and it's a big thing when it comes to the Army Navy game now, or even when Navy's playing Air Force. We hopping out there, and this year they had the school seal, the lightning bolts, and you know what I'm saying? And those in that jersey right there reflect to the school. You know what I'm saying? It had the school seal on it. It had the crest on it, all that. That's a big,
Army as well.
Deal. And Army, and I can argue this, they are more strict than Navy was when it came to jersey, because that tradition up there is strong at West Point.
Oh yeah. And they broke out the camo uniforms and stuff like that in the past couple of years. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, and you cannot tell me that the military tradition is not stronger than the Longhorns tradition in Austin.
Oh, it's stronger, but what are you seeing now though? You mentioned the jersey changes. What are you seeing now? You're seeing the Naval Academy, Air Force.
That's what I'm saying.
Air Force was on that wave a long time before Navy and Army, and they switched up their jerseys. They've been doing it, but now that all the military academies have gotten on to this, we're gonna switch up the look. They're getting more kids in.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. If the military schools are able to switch or go away from their tradition, then Texas has to be able to go away from its tradition if they want to get more kids in. That's how the military schools are getting more kids in. Now we look like whoever.
Yeah.
Now we look like the other schools.
Now, what I wish Navy would have stayed with Nike, because I believe Nike could make some. I mean, I've seen some of the prototypes that Nike made for Navy, and let me tell you, the one we wore the Texas Bowl was good, but there were some other ones that were. I mean, I would have went with them, but you know what I'm saying. We gotta we got that through because we was paying homage to the Marine Corps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
but it makes sense for Navy to go Under Armour because Under Armour is Maryland based, right?
true. Yep, Maryland base
Yeah.
right down the street.
Under Armour's Maryland based, so that it makes sense for Navy because they're going to get to do more quicker.
Yeah,
You know, because that's how it works. You know, you don't just get a Nike deal and then you get all the cool stuff. You know, you get a Nike deal, then you got to win some games. You got to wear this for a little while, and then you start rolling.
but see, they were already at that point with Nike though.
They were at that point for that one game, but I guarantee they have way more.
No. What I mean is, Navy was a premier Nike school, so Navy always came to Navy with some really tight shit, but we just wouldn't allow to wear it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I didn't know that. So
yeah,
I figured y'all just were, you were at a certain point with Nike, but I still believe that since it's kind of like Nike and Oregon. Oregon's got a way bigger leeway than anybody else with Nike.
oh yeah, they can do whatever.
You know, Maryland's got a way bigger leeway than anybody else with Under Armour, but I think Navy's got the end right there because they're there.
Well, they both there. Maryland is the guy that founded Under Armour played football at Maryland, so they got the better end than Navy do.
I know, but I'm saying they're right there as well. They got a bigger leeway than they had with Nike. There's got to be some reason. There's got to be a better deal for Navy, or they wouldn't have switched.
Yeah, true.
You see what I'm saying? If you're at a premier school and you still switch.
Well, no, I think they switched because of the conference. Because they joined the conference. They joined the was it a Great American Conference?
No, that is D2.
Not Great American. It's the one. It's a museum.
Oh, the AAC. Yeah, you're right. You sure right.
Yeah. So they hopped in that. Well, no, that don't go because SMU wears Nike. So yeah, they got.
I don't think the conference has anything to do with what you wear. I just think Navy got a better deal with Under Armour than they did with Nike. That's all there is to it. But I think it's in the benefit to them because, like I said, those Under Armour guys have a lot of some of it's ugly, right? Like some of the stuff they do with Maryland, like it's ugly, but it's cool at the same time.
Putting the flag on the helmet, that was
but it's cool at the same time though because nobody else has that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Notre Dame comes out with some pretty legit stuff. Are they Adidas or Under Armour?
Adidas.
They might, Adidas. Adidas is a good brand to go with too. Then.
Yeah, but Notre Dame the same way. It took a long time for Notre Dame to switch it up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because
all these schools that we're naming only makes it worse on Texas, though.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there. All the schools that we're naming that are humongous on tradition, and we see they're coming out with all these crazy uniforms. It's just worse on Texas. But I do want to mention one of the comments right here that I see. Trey Hart. Texas gets the recruits. They just don't produce with those recruits. Tennessee has the same problem. They get out coached. Just my opinion. But check this out. That's another big thing right there. It's a program problem. I believe that totally, truly in my heart, it's a program problem. Because why did the kids stop going to Texas? Or they're not. They didn't stop going. They're still going to Texas. Not all of the greatest are still going to Texas, but a lot of great athletes are still going there, and they're just washing out.
Well, I think when Charlie Strong came in there, he tried to change the tradition a lot, and they were losing. You know what I'm saying? Because the kids didn't buy into the program. Because they, especially the older guys, they remember when Mac Brown was there. Mac Brown ran it like a country club. You know what I'm saying? Do what you want off the field. I don't care. Your asses better be on the field come Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Charlie Strong come in. He putting some rules down. A lot of guys didn't like it. A lot of some of their senior guys, veteran guys, transferred out. Charlie Strong wasn't winning, and by the time he could even get his guys in that would buy into his system, he was at the door. You know what I'm saying? So, and then they got what's his name, the guy from Houston. Well, what he failed to realize is you ain't gonna get you got lucky. You had one good season in Houston, and that got you a good job. So he really didn't prove himself to me at the D1 level with just one good season. And then I don't even know who they had last. Well, who's the new guy?
Oh, they just brought in
Sarkisian.
Is it Sarkisian?
Yeah, Sarkisian, yeah.
Look,
I don't even know
how I do right now. They need to bring in. I don't know who they need to bring in, honestly. I think the Texas program is just going to struggle for a long time. I hope it
Yeah.
doesn't, but I just think it's going to struggle for a long time just because everybody's getting better.
Well, I don't think that they don't have an identity right now because they want to bring in a gunslinger, but then I don't know because Texas
Bro,
used to be
their
they used
best
to be a
bet,
balance.
their best bet is to go get a super electric QB. And I feel like this is with any college team that's struggling. Go get you a super athletic, electrifying QB
Yep.
and build around them and see what happens. Because the worst comes to worst, people are gonna love watching your games.
Yep.
If worst comes to worst, people are gonna love to watch your games because something's gonna happen. If if you get you a super athletic QB, he's gonna be able to make something happen.
Because they got the receivers there.
You're gonna get receivers. You're gonna get running backs. That's what I'm saying. They're kind of like what Burke was saying right there. I mean, what Trey was saying right there. Players are coming, but they're not doing anything with these players. If you go get you an electrifying QB, you will definitely make something happen. You're gonna get athletes. You're gonna get receivers in. You're gonna get running backs in. You're gonna find O linemen. We're in Texas. You're gonna find O linemen that can block and play.
Yeah.
You're gonna find D linemen that can block and play. Go get you an electrifying QB and let the chips fall where they may. At the worst comes to worst, people are going to come fill the stadium up to watch this kid play.
Now I got to agree with Trey because he's right. They aren't developing the players because I remember watching Pleasant Grove play and they were playing against Curo?
Yeah.
And they had this with Jordan Whittington.
Whittington.
I was like, yo, I was telling my boys up here, yo, this kid's gonna be the next coming of receiver, the next big quarterback because he can play it all. He's gonna be the next big thing, and I ain't heard nothing.
Well, but that is due to injury, and that comes to what we were talking about with these kids nowadays playing football year round. All staying in football, taking all these hits. Everybody's body has a mileage point. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much you work out. I don't care how much you think you're in shape. Everybody's body has a mileage point. He was the guy on his team in football. That Cuero team, it was his. He was in the state championship game. He was the offensive MVP and the defensive MVP. Clearly,
and I don't know how the hell you let that happen.
Clearly, he was. He was that much better than everybody, and he did everything. Once they moved him from receiver and put him at quarterback, I don't think he passed the ball ever. I think he just got a direct snap and took it. That was the game plan. Now, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but if that's what they did in the state championship game, I'm pretty sure that's what they did all throughout the season.
Hey, what they say? Hey, stick with what you got. Stick with what got you there.
Exactly. And also, I know that they ran him into the ground at his high school because his parents had a carry limit on him. Now, I'm not the smartest man in the world. But if the parents have to come to the coach and put a carry limit on their son, he's probably getting the ball a shit ton.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I would love to go back and look at some of his stats from games and see how many carries he was getting.
Exactly. And so now he gets to Texas. Now you're getting hit just a little bit harder. And then
every day.
Exactly. And you're a freshman. You're expected to be this true freshman to come out and play right now. So you're running hard, you're practicing hard, and you're exerting your body more than you ever have. You're working out harder. You're exerting your body more than you ever have. Well, to your body, you've already hit your mileage point.
Yeah.
Ligaments are starting to tear down. You know what I'm saying? You move the wrong way, snap. You get hit the wrong way, dislocation. These things are happening to you as a freshman and a sophomore that normally happen to guys, 2-3 years into the NFL.
Right.
But that's how much you've used your body. So so speaking of Jordan Whittington, and I don't want to go too far away from the topic, but as these parents right now, get these kids out of this football year round.
Yeah, all this
control how your kids are being coached by their players. Not saying you have any say so in playing time, but if your kids being run into the ground,
get them out.
Talk to the coaches. Save your kid's body because everyone's body. I know you might think your kid's Superman. He's going to think he's Superman because at his high school level, he's going to be on top of the world. But there is a limit on what our bodies can do.
Yep. Yep.
There's a limit on how many times you can get hit. There's a limit on how many times you can cut off that one ankle. There's a limit on how many times you can bench press 400 pounds. There's a limit to all this stuff. And we see that all the time with these kids, these prolific athletes in the high school level or even at the college level. We've been talking about Alabama all night. At Alabama, we see a lot of their running backs and quarterbacks get to the NFL and they just fizzle out.
They don't make it. You know, it reminds me of Houston Nutt. When Houston Nutt was at Arkansas, he had Felix Jones,
And Derek
McFadden, but he also had DeCorey Birmingham. I can't think of it. Can't think of any other guys, but those guys got a shit ton of carries at Arkansas. McFadden got a woo. He was carrying the load, and when he got to the league, he had 2 or 3 years where he was just hurt all the time because his body hadn't recovered from that. But then finally, once he took like a year and a half off. Finally, he came back. Then you start seeing spurts of the old Derek McFadden, but by then, you know, a little older. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The injury's taking its toll. So yeah, and we talked about this before. I don't agree with these kids playing year round. Like I don't. I see it all the time. These people going on these travel teams and going to all these different tournaments and stuff. How the hell do you play a football tournament? No, I'm like I can understand baseball. Baseball, you get there 8 in the morning. You play a game. If I say 8, the next game probably got 11. Go lunch. I mean, hell, we didn't been in many baseball tournaments. I can see because your body not taking hits. But I see these football tournaments like they have out here in Minnesota, and these kids are playing a game at 8 o'clock. Then they turn around and playing at 12. And then they turn around and playing at 3. You're playing 3 back-to-back games in one day.
In one day. And I hate to say it, but if this continues, these kids are not going to make it to college. They're just not.
Nope.
Not only are we starting, because we're starting them younger now as well. They're hitting each other younger, which I am all for. I'm not against. I'm not one of those, let's play flag until, 7th or 8th grade. I'm not with that. I think you should learn how to tackle, and that's only going to make you a better football player and make you safer out there on the field and all that good stuff. Don't wait until you're big enough to hurt each other to start tackling each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm not for that. But the thing about it is, we're starting them off at 8, hit each other. They're playing football year round their whole life. Or let's say that a kid's playing his whole life. So he's from 8 years old until he's 14, 15, he's been playing football year round every year. Practicing every day, getting hit every day, working out every day. This whole entire time. And to his body, he's already 20. He's already put 20 years, 23 years, 24 years of damage on his body, on his joints, on his ligaments, on his muscles.
And at the same time, his body is growing.
Exactly. At the same time, his body's growing. And I'm not saying that you can't have these kids doing extra things, and working on their craft. They have to work on their craft to keep up in this generation. I'm not saying that.
But not playing a game.
Exactly. There's ways to do it. There's an off season for a reason. If football players didn't need an off season, if basketball players didn't need an off season, if baseball players didn't need an off season, there would be pro sport. The pro level would go year round. You think they want to miss out on those dollars in those months that they're off? Those organizations aren't missing out on that money because they want to. They literally have to be able to put a product on the field. We saw that this year with the NBA. They had a quick turnaround, and during the playoffs, how many star players who were playing late last year, they were hurt. They didn't make it to the end of the season this year.
Yep.
We saw that. There's an off season for a reason, and we need to take heed to that. These kids are not superhumans. They're just not. And I don't care. I don't care what any parent says. Your kid playing 2 seasons in a year did not make him better.
No, if anything, made him worse.
I'm telling you, it did not make him better by playing 2 football seasons. I'm telling you that right now. He could have gotten just as good training in the off season as he got in that second season.
But you know my opinion about Little League football. It ain't for the kids anyway. It's all about the ego of the parents. A large percent of them. It's about the parents, and they just want, my son's the fastest, my son this, my son that. It's like, hey man, give him some time to rest, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm a Little League coach. I refuse to give a kid a ball 15 times a game, and I have a kid on my team that I could give him the ball 15 times a game, and I promise you, he gonna score 8.
Yeah,
but there's no need to. I'm not out there trying to win a Super Bowl or nothing like that. I'm out there to develop these kids. Hey man, get in, you get a taste, and I got 4 more kids that I got to rotate out through here so they can all get a taste. You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, if we win some games, whatever, it's cool. But then if it's a tight situation, just know I'm calling your number. But right now, it's all about development. That's it.
exactly. And that's what I want. And I'm glad you just said that about that, because what started this was us talking about Texas. And we've come across the assumption that they aren't developing players. At what point are players or coaches stopping developing players? I think it's starting earlier and earlier. Like I think at the high school level, they're not developing anymore.
They're not developing in high school now. They're not getting developed at all. Right now, it's if you're the biggest and strongest, I'm putting you here, do your thing.
Or I'm putting you everywhere.
Or I'm putting you everywhere. There you go.
And is that in itself a disservice to an athlete?
We are winning to the next level,
especially in this day and age. Exactly. Everything's so position specific now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like literally everything. Like people are going nuts that this guy in the MLB is pitching and hitting. Like people are going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like players playing out of their position. Is that hurting them? Because you're not really, if you're practicing at all these positions, you're not really, honing in on your skill, like what you're gonna do. Is that hurting these players, or is it helping them because they see a different side of the ball, or they see a different position, and they understand the whole entire scheme better?
No, to me, I think it's hurting the kids, because I think Little League is where you find out, is where you play multiple positions to learn what you do. By the time you get to high school, you should have a set position of, an idea of where you can play. But a lot of coaches these days, they want to win games. And if you got a guy who's, killing no defensive line, hell, you might throw him at a tight end, or might put him on the O line because he's just bigger, stronger, and faster than everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, when he gets but while he's in high school, if he's not learning any technique, he's going off raw strength. When he goes to the next level, he's going to be a couple steps behind, because there are other kids out there, or other programs out there, that they are developing players.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if a guy goes to a college and there's a kid that went to IMG Academy and they play the same position, I'm going to put my money on the kid from IMG Academy, because that is a boarding school where they are developing athletes 24/7 around the clock.
Yeah.
That kid's gonna come in with technique. He's gonna have technique. He learns technique before he gets, before his size and shit take over. He gonna beat you with technique first, and if he can't get you with technique, well, now I'm just gonna bull rush. I'm just gonna use my strength.
Yeah.
So I think that's a disservice to the kid.
I do too as well, and I just think back to my career. Like I literally played a lot of positions. Like I even kicked off to the return guys. While our kicker was working on field goals before the game, I was the one kicking off to return guys before I went down and got my returns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I did a lot of things, right? I can honestly say that I was not developed as a player when I got to the college level. Like I'm not gonna say luckily I broke my back, but I did break my back, and I had a whole year to sit down and see what was going on. But most people don't get that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Most people don't get that. You're just thrown into the fire. But I can say that I was truly not developed. I wasn't honed in on playing D-line. I played running back in high school, which it was fun or whatever. You get shine time or whatever, but I wasn't going to college to play running back. I ended up playing a little running back there, but I wasn't going to college to play running back. I didn't even have a desire to go to college and play running back. Like, I wanted to play D-line. But I spent a lot of time in high school working on playing running back.
Right.
And I think that was a disservice to myself. And I think, and when I see kids now in high school, great at D line, great at linebacker, or great at running back, and they're playing linebacker or they're playing D line, I'm like, there's no need for that. That's not doing that kid any justice. That's only helping out the coach.
No, now you know me. I'm a big advocate of don't play both sides of the ball. I got hurt playing defense. I'm not a defensive player. I don't like hitting nobody. Which is weird because as a running back, I like running into people. But my first major injury came from playing on the defensive side of the ball. I should never been on this side of the ball. So when parents ask me, hey, should my kid play both sides? Hell no. Pick a position and polish that craft. Learn that craft, learn every technique, do what you got to do, and get good at that one thing. Because as you move up, there ain't no playing both sides of the ball. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
Right. There's not.
And like, you know,
there's a reason for that. I'm not saying the guys can't do it. We've seen it happen before too. But I'm not saying the guys can't do it. But there's a reason they don't do it.
Yeah.
You literally, once the level gets harder, you have to spend all of your time
learning your position.
Exactly. You have to. And I'm not saying that guys aren't playing corner and then they might step out and play safety. You know, that happens. You know what I'm saying? You're going to do that. He might be playing Mike and he might have to play Will or Sam. Linebacker is linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Linebacker is linebacker.
Yeah.
DB is DB. But what I'm saying is, if you're trying to go to college and you're trying to be the number one corner in the nation, you're trying to be the best corner to ever do it. Practicing receiver or practicing quarterback or practicing running back is not helping you.
No.
You're only cutting down on the mileage that your body can take, and you're also taking away from time that you need to be honing in on that skill.
Right. I mean, if you play safety and they have a special package for you to come in and play like a slot receiver, you're only running a handful of routes anyway. So you know what I'm saying? And it's not all the time they're going to be running that package. So
exactly, and playing and going in and playing receiver, just using your natural ability is different. But this is what I'm saying right here. You're playing safety. That's, you know, for a fact you're going to go to college and play on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
That's what you're going to do. Going to the field and working on routes, which I guess receiver and corner might help you out later in life because you know all the routes. You see what a guy's doing and stuff like that. But the time that you're spending working on routes, you could be getting better at playing safety.
Exactly. Yep, I totally agree with you. I totally agree. I don't know. I think these high schools, they're so focused on winning that they've forgotten about developing the kid. And you said it in earlier podcasts. It's not their job to develop the kid.
Exactly. It's not. It's really not their job. They the winning games pays their paycheck.
That's it.
I will say that winning games pays their paycheck. But how could you? But how could you be a lover of the sport? I will say that because when I made that comment that it's not their job to develop the kids, I was also saying like the basic coach, he just has to win games. That's like the basic coach. But if you're a coach, you shouldn't be a coach if you're just the basic coach.
Right.
If you're just there to strictly win games and you really truly don't care about the kids, you're in the wrong field in the first place.
Yeah. I don't know, but I went to the Randy Rogers recruiting roundup my junior year, and he goes, hey, these coaches, your gameplay depends on their mortgage, if they pay their mortgage or not. So in my eyes, if that's the case, you would think they'd be more willing, not more willing, but they'd be more honed in on developing these kids.
But I don't have to develop. So let's just take like the natural athlete, right? Like the guy that's just good. He's good at everything he does. If I put him at quarterback, he can throw me a touchdown. If I put him at linebacker, he's going to fill the gap and make the play. If I put him at corner or safety, he's going to give me a pick. If I put him at kick return, he's going to run it back to the house. That guy. If I'm a coach and I know that my check comes based on these wins that I'm getting, that guy's not leaving the field. He's going to be out there somewhere ensuring that I'm going to get a dub. I don't care that he's going to go to college and play linebacker. That means nothing to me.
Because once he's gone, he out of my hands anyway.
Exactly. I don't care. That's what he's going to do. I know that if I need 6 points on the board, I'm going to get him the ball. He's going to be out there on offense. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I played with one of the best QBs I've ever seen in real life. And he was played linebacker as well. You know what I'm saying?
He played linebacker?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So like I'm saying, like, and no one cared. They didn't matter that he was gonna go play quarterback. And he ended up not even playing quarterback actually. But
He
at the
playing
time,
safety.
yeah, at the time, nobody, at the time he was going to go play quarterback. Everybody thought that. That didn't stop anybody from putting him at linebacker. That didn't stop anybody from thinking, oh, he could get cut blocked at any time and his ACL is done. Nobody thought that. They just knew if he's at linebacker, there's the chance that he's about to create a turnover out here.
Yeah.
And that's all that mattered. And you see that time and time again with these coaches, but then after the game, oh, I love these kids so much. I care about these kids. Some of them crying, fake ass crying. I love these kids. You don't love that kid. You love what that kid is doing for you.
Exactly, because we all seen once the football season over with, you see them in the hallway, they hit you with the oh, what up, coach?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I think a lot of times we get it twisted. We think these coaches like really like that's my determination on whether a coach cares about a kid. You know what I'm saying? Is he developing these kids? I know the coaches that cared about me because they stayed after and did extra stuff.
Yeah.
It was sometimes not even by my choice. You don't do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, we're gonna do this. Those coaches I know for sure, they truly cared about me.
Yeah, because they go out their way to, I should be going home to my family, but let me spend this extra hour and a half, making sure he get this in, or we watch a little extra film. You know what I'm saying? I know there were several coaches where I'd come in the film room, they in there working at the desk. Back when we had the portable buildings in the back, hop in there. Hey man, can I watch film? I'm sitting there watching it, and they just sit beside me. You know what you're looking at? And I'm just sitting there watching it, and they breaking stuff down to me. And which to me, that was a big part of my game is I knew defenses. I learned defenses.
Exactly.
So once I get to college,
that let you know that coach cared about you though.
Yeah, he was like, don't just know what you got to do. You got to know what the lineman doing, because you got to be looking for the backside cut and all that, but also know what the defense is doing, because if you can look over there and you can see that linebacker might be blitzing, that backside might be open, player.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and that develops you as a player right there. That little bit puts you a little bit above somebody else right there, because now a coach took his time out, extra time, and now that developed you that little bit. And that's what if you're in the coaching game, if you're in the coaching world, that's to be your goal. If not, it's time to get out, because just winning games is not enough for these kids. A lot of kids have no other way. You're the only way. You're the guy. You're the guy that can get them to where they need to be in life. Everything else in their life it could be trash, could be garbage. Something they were trying to get as far away from that lifestyle or whatever as possible. And you're the only guy. And you sitting up here just thinking about winning games, you were messing with a lot of futures.
Exactly.
A lot of futures. And that's where I stand on that. But the whole reason we got on this conversation. Texas, develop your players. Be good again. We are waiting on it. We want to see y'all do good. We Texas boys. We're from here. We want to see every school in Texas do their thing. Right now, y'all are sitting at the bottom of the map. If y'all go to the SEC,
I won't say the bottom.
Oh, it's the bottom.
I mean, you still got University of Texas El Paso. They trash.
No, I'm saying the bottom of the map in their division.
Yeah. Instead of worrying about people throwing up the hooks down and trying to find them and all that. Will they say it's gonna be a penalty or something?
Yeah,
like what?
I don't know if that's coming from actually Texas though. I don't know if that's actually coming from Texas. I'm like gonna put that on them. But whoever came up with that's just showing you how soft and everybody gets a trophy mentality that this world is going to. The hook them down or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what you want to call it. Hook them horns when they put it down is now going to be a penalty if you do that.
Bro, how can you say that that's not coming from somebody from Texas? That's coming from somebody that got some money.
It could be coming from the Big 12, just the Big 12 in general, not just Texas.
Why does that cause fights?
I don't know what it. No, I mean I'm sure it causes them upsetness. I don't know if anybody's ever gotten a physical altercation over the horns down, but you go Baker Mayfield was hellacious with it. He was all about that, which I loved. Even as a Texas guy, I love the way he did that. I think when anybody does it's good because it's a rivalry.
It's fueling the fire,
especially
man.
with the OU guys. It's a rivalry, man. Put the hook them down. I don't know what OU. I don't know if they got any hand symbols, but put they shit upside down. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they do, make fun of them for their little wagon breaking down in the middle of this field. You know what I'm saying? Like that is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Stop taking things out of the sport that make it good.
Yeah, because that's a storyline. I mean, it builds the rivalry up, and then everybody wants to play a little harder, and you know what I'm saying? It just makes the game better.
Exactly, man. Exactly, man.
I used to love during the Iron Bowl when when Alabama and Auburn get milk and they get that about this close. You think they're gonna fight? Same thing back when Bobby Bowden was at Florida State and they play Miami. They get there by the tunnel and they about this close. And
exactly same thing with Michigan and Ohio State. Like,
man, they had a buddy out there middle of the field scraping the logo.
That's what I'm saying. But those things make college football what it is. Those things make just the sport and football is what it is. It's a barbaric sport. Stop trying to dumb it down. It's guys out there killing each other. It's guys out there really running into each other, 30, 45 mile an hour car crash. Like, it's a barbaric sport. Ankles are getting broken, legs getting broken, ACLs torn, all that stuff.
Yep. Yeah, and Aaron said it best, man. You get whooped, man. You get whooped talking, putting them horns down.
Exactly. If you get whooped, that's on you. Why you do it? Why you put it down?
Yeah.
You know, if you're a guy putting the horns down, you know what comes with that.
Yeah. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Like that's just part of it, man. That's just part of it. But as always, man, before we get out of here, actually, let's open it up right now. If anybody wants to come on and talk to us, say what you got to say about anything we talked about tonight, or if you just got something to say about the RTL in general, man, hit that link, and we're gonna give y'all some time to come on if you want to come on.
Yeah, the link is in the chat, so you can hit that link and come on and talk.
Just put that link in the chat for you guys, man. Hit that link right there. Hop on.
You know what? Actually, I don't think the link will be a hyperlink in YouTube. So what I have to do is go to the description and put it in there.
No, I just clicked on it and it definitely works.
Oh, all right, never mind. But yeah, man. I was reading that article. I'm like, man, are they really going this far? Like, when is it going to stop? Like, they've already dumbed down defense or watered down defense so much that, defense is kind of at a handicap as far as they can hit. So, what's going to be next?
Defense is at an all-time handicap right now, man, in the NFL and in football, period. The defensive receiver rule is still being changed every single year.
Yep.
It's hard, man. It's hard. But it doesn't look like we're going to have anybody clicking in with us tonight, man. Y'all get on that. Y'all start popping on with us. We love to hear from y'all at any time. But, man, as always, mental health checks, man. Mental health checks, man. I want to know how you doing 1 through 10, physically, personally, and business-wise, financially, man. How's it going?
All right, mentally, man, I'm doing pretty good. It's been a pretty light week at work. Just kind of running around and hitting all my stores. Been pretty good. So mentally, I say I'm probably about an 8. Physically, man, I've taken some time off working out, man. Something with my back. I don't know if I tweaked it, putting up some tree stand or something, but it just been a knot in my back. So been taking a couple of weeks off and just relaxing. So physically, I'm getting back. All the soreness is getting going. So I say I'm sitting at probably about a 7, about 6 or 7. Personally, and everything is good. Just getting that itch, man. Deer season is right around the corner, man. The tags came in the mail. I'm out shooting my bow. Me and Rex are tinkering around with some arrows. I think I said that last week.
Yeah.
So definitely getting worked up about that. So personally, I'm doing pretty good, and financially, man, I'm sitting pretty good. So I'll say I'm sitting at about a 8 or 9 financially.
There we go, man. There we go, man. For me personally, man, I'm sitting at about an 8 right now, man. Everything's good. Working hard, hardly working at the same time, you know.
Yep.
Everything's good on that end. Physically, man, you know, I'm gonna keep it G. I'm probably about a 7, 6 right there on the physically right now, man. I am feeling pretty old. I ain't gonna lie. I'm feeling pretty old these days when I get to moving around. But you know, I always bounce back.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that this next week. Really bouncing back, getting back into my fitness goals and stuff like that. And financially, man, I'm probably sitting at about a 7 right now, man. Got a lot of stuff going. Made a lot of sales this week.
Oh yeah.
And that's it. So I'm probably about a 7 there, man. RTL's on point. Training every day, so that's on point. So yeah, I keep it at 7 right there. Green arrow is going up, man.
Always.
But any last words for the people?
Man, only thing I got is, man, like I said, be good people, man. Just be good people and take care of everybody.
Exactly. Be good people, man. If I got any last words, I'm just gonna piggyback off you right there, man. Be good people, man. And no. One last thing before we get out of here. Really take heed to the thing about the kids and the mileage on their bodies, and y'all really think about that right there, man, because I want to see this next generation of athletes. I've always said it that these athletes they're getting crazy, and I want to see this next generation make it to that level. You know, I don't want to see a lot of these kids fizzle out. Either one getting burnt out by playing their sport all the time, or two due to injury.
Injuries.
And you're looking at 2 people right now that can tell you a lot about injuries and mileage right here. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. This is episode 2, season 2 of the RTL, otherwise known as the Reed Talk and Listen podcast. I am your host, Nick Reed, along with my brother and co-host Trey Reed, my boy Measley in the background, and we are out.
Peace.
What? I mean, it's been turning up with her. The girl around us and she loving her. If we don't know you, don't go close to her. If you with your girl, let me hear you say, what?